Alright, so here we are for episode number 3. Can you believe it? 3. And I figured out the lighting. Yes, I did. I opened the shades to the window. Okay, so anyway, what I have today is from the folks from Eleaf. Another, I'm gonna gush, wonderful device. I'm a little bit partial to Eleaf anyway because the Eleaf Pico is what I quit cigarettes with. And your first one, you get it. At any rate, but this is truly a sweet little device here. It is the Eleaf Istick, either Melo or Melo. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't pretend to know necessarily. I'd have to hear an expert, I guess, pronounce that. So anyway, let's check this baby out. Starting with the box, and I see we got a little bit of glare here, so it might be a little bit hard to see. Istick Melo, 4400 milliamp hours. On the sides, typical Eleaf, not a whole lot going on here. Scratch and sniff, Eleaf world. And on the back, I just have Eleaf, some contents, and that's about it. So, flipping the box back over, we'll open this up. And on the inside, we have a little card here, attention, and it tells about how to use the atomizer. Underneath there, we've got the mod, the tank, an extra glass. I love this, the little pull tab on here. I also love this foam. I mean, this travels really nice. This is a nice deal here. On the inside, a little spacer we can pull out with our finger, and we got a couple quick start guides. The first one is for the atomizer itself, the tank, and the one underneath is for the mod or the battery. Pretty nicely done. It gave me all the information I needed to make the thing work. I was pretty happy with that. Underneath, the charging cable, a couple of O-rings for the tank, a spare coil for the tank, and that. I have no idea what that is. Alright, starting with the tank, the Melo or Melo, I've heard it pronounced both ways, 4 tank. On the very top we have a 510 compatible drip tip, 2 O-rings on there. Use any of your other 510 drip tips on there. Fill port, you've got a little arrow you push right here. It just slides off right to the side. That's always nice, doesn't create any extra pressure by screwing the cap back on when you fill it up. Obviously here's our fill hole. I do recommend to fill it from the side and go slowly because it has a tendency to really bubble up quickly, and it's real easy to have it bubble up over the edges before you get it completely full. You got to take your time with this one a little bit, put a little bit in, let it go down, put a little bit in, that kind of thing. Closing that up. You can see the side of the tank, very small tank. You can see the atomizer in there. Flipping it over, see the 510, all stainless steel, including the positive pin, 510 connection, Eleaf on the top, the D22, whatever that means, and it says don't throw it away. They've got our airflow adjustment, both sides, one side and the other work together. Pretty standard stuff here. The size of the tank, is going to be about 35 and a half millimeters high, not counting the drip tip or the 510 connector. With the drip tip attached, we have got basically 48 millimeters. The diameter of the tank is just over 22 millimeters. Taking the tank apart, the bottom portion here twists right off. You can see the 510 connector in the bottom, and you can see here the O-ring sealing the tank on the bottom there. Moving that aside, we have the coil itself, which is not going to turn out because the bottom come off first this time. Here we can remove the glass and replace it. We have an O-ring here on the top of the atomizer sealing to the glass as well. That tiny little O-ring right there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, this little O-ring here, I've popped that one off. That would be disastrous. It would leak like crazy. Here you have the 1, 2, I believe 4 juice intake holes, and on the coil, it's really hard to see with this camera, but it shows that it's a 0.3 ohm atomizer, and it gives a recommended vaping wattage on there. Doesn't state what the coil is made out of. I did get on the net and found out that it is Kanthal. To unscrew the coil itself, unscrew it here from the top, turn it over. You see a little screen there on the top. You can see the coil down through the center with organic cotton all the way around the edges. To get this one started, obviously, it's always recommended to put some drops of e-liquid on here on the top. Kind of slowly put them in. Keep on dropping them in until you see this cotton on the sides change color. We can then screw this back into the top of the atomizer, or I mean, you can go either way with this. If you like, you can screw it into the bottom first. Get that all tightened down. Get our tank back into place. Screw the top on. Obviously, it's the coil itself that's going to screw the two pieces together. This unit also comes with a half ohm, 0.5 ohm coil as well. And that's about it. We'll talk about it later when we go through the overview of the whole thing. Here's our mod. You can see on the side marked Eleaf. On the front, nothing but the fire button. On the other side, marked Istick Melo. On the back, we have the 510 and upgrade port. On the bottom, we have a couple of ventilation holes on each side. A couple other markings in here. Again, don't throw it away, I guess. My humble opinion, very sleek looking mod. Just sharp. I really like a brushed aluminum like this. Just really sleek. And then on the excuse me, the top and the bottom both chrome. I apologize for my voice today. I got some kind of cold that's trying to develop, but we'll get through that as well. On the top, here we get down to the business end of things. You have our 510 connector, very solid, very nicely done 510 connector. Center pin is plated. That looks to be copper. It is spring loaded. It's a pretty stiff spring loading, but it is spring loaded. Let me wipe off the top here just real quick, maybe, so we can see it a little bit better. Well, maybe not so much. Okay, navigating the mod. I have got the mod off right now, and while it's off, I'm going to press the plus and minus together. And I see the screen come on in that orientation. And now I'm going to press this plus and minus together again, and it comes on in that orientation. So while the thing's off, you can press those two and you can flip the screen to whichever you think is right side up or upside down or whatever that is. So now let's click it 5 times. Pretty standard, and it turns on. Plus and minus. Got in wattage mode. It adjusts the wattage. This thing will adjust anywhere from 1 watt to 60 watts. It has an internal battery. It's a 4400 milliamp hour internal battery. Lasts me all day. Really nice battery option in here. It charges at 2 amps, so it is a relatively quick charge. I guess that's about enough for that. One of the options here, you click it twice. And you see that ENU on. Now that is a very nice option. That is, again, for charging the device. It will actually monitor the temperature of that battery. So if that battery gets too warm, it'll shut off the charging. So that's a real nice safety feature. You can turn it off. Wouldn't know why you'd want to, but you can. So going back into the main menu, there we're back in wattage. I'm going to click it this time 3 times. And I'm going to cycle through the modes. Wattage mode, bypass mode. There you can use it almost like a mech mod, but a protected mech. Hit it again. Timed out on me. Bypass. We have temperature nickel. We have temperature titanium. We have temperature stainless steel. We have TCR. Set your own TCR. Memory 1, memory 2, and memory 3. And then back to wattage. 2 of the most frequently used, I think, modes are our wattage mode and temperature control mode. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to temperature control mode. The way I like to do it is from wattage mode, I like to remove the atomizer. I do that prior to clicking it 3 times, because while I'm clicking it 3 times, it'll go out there and it'll find that there's no atomizer on there, and it'll reset that. I used stainless steel, so let's go into temperature stainless steel, and there we go. It's come back up in temperature control. Now, I like to put the atomizer back on. Okay, fire it. It has went and found the resistance for that addy. Now, it is locked at this point in time, okay, the resistance, and that's because this device remembers that the last time I used temperature control, I had the thing locked. If that isn't the case, if it's the first time you actually use this, you can press the fire button and plus at the same time, and that will lock and unlock that resistance for you. The next thing that we can do is we can press it 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will put us into adjusting the wattage that you want available for a temperature control vape. This thing really does it all. It's all in there. I mean, it's fully programmable. So back here, back to 430. That's a little hot for me. I like it at about 410. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go on temperature control. That is all there is to it. Yeah, she's very, very capable unit. There's no doubt about it. All right, so cruising right along. What do we got here? We got a pocket mod. Okay, I think one heck of a nice pocket mod. 2 milliliter, not a heck of a lot of juice. Okay, TPD compliant, Europe and all that happy stuff. Okay, so it's affecting us here in the United States to some degree too, obviously. But it's just small, it's lightweight, it's simple, but it does everything. Okay, everything you need to vape, this little baby does. 4,400 milliamp hours. That's a long time. I mean, as long as you get a fairly reasonable build in there, yeah, 0.5 is really nice. It lasts a very, very long time. The vape, okay. There's nothing shabby about that vape. It's satisfying. It's definitely direct to lung. Okay, this is not an MTL tank. a bit restrictive, you know, not open like, oh, I don't know, the RDA or something like that, a goon, okay? Not necessarily the monster cloud chucker, it's 60 watts. Okay, then I got to talk about that just a hair too. But something to take along with you all day long. You don't have to, if you don't want to worry about external batteries, no worries there. It's got real nice protection, especially with that ENU business in here. You know, taking a look at the temperature of the mod itself. Now, you know, I would still use caution in charging it. Okay, these are high discharge, high amperage batteries. There's no getting around that. That's reality. I love the way Mooch puts it. You know, is my vape safe? No, but you can do a heck of a lot to make it as safe as possible. Okay, I think that's a very realistic way to look at this whole thing. Anyway, regardless of that so much, I did some testing with this, and it does read a little low on the resistance, probably up to about 10%. That's on the higher side of most mods as far as deviation. Most mods read a little bit closer to that. And I also did some testing as far as the voltage that it actually applies to the coil, and you're probably not going to get a full 60 watts out of this. It is just a little overrated. And that's because of the way, at least this unit is reading the resistance. Now, is that problematic? I hardly think so. I mean, it does a real nice job on firing all these coils up. I played with it. I vaped it. Not played with it. I vaped it for a good 5 days in temperature control with stainless steel in there. Never jumped out. Never deviated. Gave me a real nice ramp and a real nice flat vape. Real nice even vape. It's a sweet unit, okay? It really is all there is to it. I can plug this baby in it at night, you know, put it someplace safe to do that. You know, in the morning, it's all charged up, okay? Carry some juice with me, a little 10 milliliter, Gorilla bottle or whatever. You know, I go for a long time with this little guy. Real inconspicuous, real easy to carry, real light. And I really think it feels nice in the hand, okay? Male or female, okay? It's just a real nice size. So, would I recommend it? Seriously? Okay. All right, so anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. As usual, thank you, Eleaf, for sending me this. Shout out to the guys out there in Lakeland at Wild Bills, of course. My whole fan base, I think. Anyway, later.